Hey guys, it's Gameface here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through 10 reasons why you should buy FIFA 19. I did a video the other day that was basically 10 reasons why you shouldn't buy FIFA 19, and today I thought I'd go through the positive reasons why you should go get the game. It's also released I think towards the end of September, so obviously there's a little bit more time for us to hopefully hear some more information about what's going to be in the game. But I thought I'd go through a few reasons why you should go ahead and purchase the game. I've obviously done some sort of summary here with 10 reasons why you should go ahead and get it. I've done previous videos in the last few days and over the last week, which basically goes through sort of more detail as to the FIFA 19 features and what's in the beta and what's not. So you can feel free to go ahead and click on those if you want to in the top right hand corner. Before we go any further though, if we could try and hit 100 likes on today's video, then I'd really appreciate it. Also, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already as well, and that'd be absolutely fantastic too. Trying to hit 20,000 subscribers now, so I'd appreciate your support and I appreciate you clicking that button. Let me know in the comment section below if you have done, and I'll read and reply as usual. Let's crack on with things. Let's go through the first reason why I believe you should buy FIFA 19, and that is because they've added budget increases now at the start of the season, which is great to see. If I give you an example, for those of you who haven't seen the previous videos, I gave this example before, but at the start of my second season with Man City, I'd simmed the whole of the first season. We finished about 10th or something, but we must have actually completed a few of our other objectives because I got an increase in the budget of over £170 million. So a pretty good increase for my second season. I ended up with about £320 million to spend, and that obviously helps me out going into the second season. But it's good to see those sort of budget increases. They obviously vary from team to team. Leeds gave me I think 3 million or something, which is slightly different to Man City, but still it was nice to get a bit of a budget increase just to help you out. But it doesn't quite hide the fact that you can't still request funds, which I obviously went through in the previous video that I did. But yeah, it's a little bit strange that they got rid of that one, but at least you now can get a budget increase on this FIFA. The second reason is that you can now train sprint speed and strength. That's really good to see that they've added that into the training drills. A lot of people asking for it for a number of years now, I think, and it's finally been brought into the game, which is good to see. I don't think you're really going to be able to abuse this. A lot of people want to be able to give, you know, Vincent Kompany 99 pace and all this sort of thing. That's not going to be quite possible. You can only train sprint and strength at separate times. You can't train them at the same time, so there's no sort of risk of you suddenly bringing about 100 Hulks into the club, which is never going to happen really. There's not going to be someone that has that combination of sort of strength and speed at the same time, because you've got to train them quite a lot to be able to get them up as well. So it's not going to be particularly overpowered, I don't think. It might even become a little bit pointless. I don't really know. Not quite used to it enough just yet, but there certainly you don't see the pace flying up week after week for sure. But it's good to see that they've at least added it into the game, which is nice to see in those training drills. I think a lot of people will be happy about that, and it's a fairly big feature for some people. The third reason is, of course, probably the most talked about one, the most obvious one. The fact that they've brought in the Champions League and Europa League licensing. A lot of people happy to hear that. I can tell you that it does get used quite a lot in FIFA 19 career mode, so you will be happy to see it around. Maybe it's a little bit overused, but it's good to see anyway. It adds to the realism of the game, and obviously just makes you feel a little bit more like it is the real thing. So it's good to see that has been implemented. It's been implemented really well as well, actually. You get to see sometimes the balls being drawn from the group draw when that happens. You get to see that right at the start of the game if you are playing with a Champions League team or Europa League team, which is good to see. That happens in the news section. It's just a nice little feature that's added to the game. The fourth reason why you should buy FIFA 19 is because they've added new game plans. So these are new tactics that you can now change your team, whether that be in the game or before the match. You can just change between certain different tactics. Before you could park the bus, you could go on all-out attacking. Now they've changed it so it's sort of defensive and offensive, that sort of thing. There's a couple of other options as well, but basically that now changes your whole game plan. So it can change your formation, it can change how much you're pressing, how wide your team's playing, how deep they're playing. Those sort of things can all be changed with just a click of a button, as long as you've made those game plans before the match. So that's good to see. It's a nice little feature. I've not actually used it that much myself, just because it does take a little bit of time to go through the options, and it's just whether you can be bothered to do that or whether you care enough about the tactics side of the game in order to use it. But certainly for some people that do use the tactics quite a lot, it will be quite a welcome feature and will probably end up being used by quite a few people. The fifth reason why you should buy FIFA 19 is because you can now change the national team squad numbers. you should have been able to do it in the first place, let's be honest, but now you can change the squad numbers. For those people that are bothered about the squad numbers, which I'm really not, to be honest, but a lot of people actually are for some reason. I suppose they want it realistic, to be fair, but you can now change the squad numbers of the national team, which is good to see. So that is a selection now you can go onto. I think there's a squad hub or something similar like that for the national team, and you can go through and obviously change the team numbers just like you can with the regular teams. So it's good to see that's finally being added to the national sides now. Like I say, it should have been there before, but this is the way it works with Corona. You have to wait years on years and years to see the bugs improved and the bugs fixed, and these little features added to the game that should already be in the game. The sixth reason you should buy FIFA 19 is because of the addition of the new Ultimate difficulty. It's good to see there's now another difficulty added onto Legendary. If you're like me and you already play Legendary on FIFA 18 and with sliders having to be in favour of the opposition as well to try and make it even tougher, then it's good to see the Ultimate difficulty being brought into the game. I've not actually tried it yet because the Legendary difficulty, for me at least, getting used to FIFA 19 at the moment is enough, so I've not tried Ultimate difficulty, but I imagine of course it will be a little bit tougher, which is good to see they've had an extra difficulty on there for people that are playing at Legendary fairly comfortably. So that's a really good addition. I think it will help with a lot of people that obviously playing at the top end of the difficulties. Not everyone uses Legendary difficulty, of course, so it won't affect everyone, but it will at least help those that do play on the slightly higher difficulties and also have to end up changing the sliders. So hopefully I don't have to touch the sliders on this new FIFA. The seventh reason why you should buy FIFA 19 is because of the better gameplay. I mean, it's a much better gameplay, much more realistic. It's great to see that they have made so many improvements once again on the gameplay side of things. Not everyone's always going to be keen in the gameplay. It depends how you want to play FIFA and how you play the game and that sort of thing. But for me at least, it does look very, very good. I'm really impressed with the realism of it. The goalkeepers do look much better on this as well. They've been added to a lot in terms of the way they kick the ball, the way they throw the ball out. It looks a lot more realistic. There's still a few little bugs that haven't quite been ironed out. The ball still rolls off the pitch when the goalkeeper chases after it. He doesn't quite get there. The ball just rolls out. He goes out for a corner or he doesn't pick it up. There's those little things which I'd like to see improved. Maybe they will get fixed for the full game. I suspect probably not though, as we've seen in previous FIFAs where there has been a lot of glitches really with the goalkeepers. Having said that though, there's a lot of improvements. They catch the ball much better. The realism and the way that they move in general has been massively improved. Something that I've clearly worked on going into this FIFA. Goal kicks have also changed as well. Different camera angle, as I've mentioned in previous videos, where you set a little bit further back so you can see more of the pitch and you can distribute the ball a little bit better, which will be helpful for those of you who play out of the back as well. So really good to see they have made improvements on that front. It's also very, very easy to see that dynamic touch has been added into the game as well. You'll see that a lot from opposition players as well as your own players, flicking the ball a little bit differently, controlling the ball a little bit differently when it comes at them in a bit of an odd angle. They might flick it on or they might control it a little bit differently to what you've seen in previous FIFAs. So those little tweaks have been really improved actually, have been added to the game really, really well. So that's good to see. They have been significant improvements, I believe, in the gameplay side of things. The eighth reason is that Kickoff has been revamped. We didn't ask it to be revamped, but it has been revamped. There's now loads of different options. I did a whole video on it if you want to go and have a look at that, so I won't go too much into it because obviously I have done a separate video, but it has been improved and it has been made much better. There's now loads of different options, house rules, those sort of things that have been added to the game. So it is like a whole new sort of feature, albeit one we didn't ask for, but a whole new feature in the game in FIFA 19, which you guys might want to play if you don't want to be online, if you want to play offline or with your friends, that sort of thing. The ninth reason to buy FIFA 19 is that release clauses have been implemented into the game much better. It's good to see that now you can search by release clause, which is something that wasn't possible before. Again, another feature that should have been possible for anyway. I shouldn't have to say this a year later, but release clauses have been implemented so much better. You can now search by them, you can now go through the players and see whether they've got a release clause straight away. You don't have to add them to your shortlist in order to find out whether they've got a release clause or not. You still do have to add them to your shortlist though in order to be able to sign them or try and approach them, which is a little bit frustrating still, but that's for a different video, I think. But yeah, certainly much more of an improvement on the release clause side of things. They have been improved in terms of how you can see that a player has a release clause. I'd still like to see a lot more options in negotiations. They have added to negotiations as well, which is a separate point, but that you can now when you trade for a player, when you try and offer a player, the manager might come back at you and say that actually I want one of 3 positions. So if you've traded a fullback, he might say I want a midfielder, a goalkeeper, or a striker, and so that gives you 3 different options to trade for now, which is another little addition which they have added to, and just kind of opens up a few different more options for you in negotiations, which is good to see. But on the whole, negotiations have stayed pretty similar, so nothing to get too excited by, but just little tweaks for the FIFA 19 beta. And the final reason why you should buy FIFA 19, this one's been spoken about a lot by people in the comment section. I've not been able to address it myself because I've not actually seen it happen, or I've not made it happen in game, and that's when you get a team promoted, does the sleeve badge change from, say, Championship to Premier League? Now, I've not seen this myself, so I'm going off other people's information that I've seen on Twitter, but from what I've seen, it has, I think, been implemented, albeit very badly. It does seem a little bit glitchy right now. They haven't changed the numbers, so you will still have the Championship logo on if you get promoted to the Premier League on the numbers, but on the sleeves, it does seem like that might have changed. There's a picture which hopefully I've got on screen now for you guys to see, where essentially it's the Premier League badge on top of the Championship badge when a team gets promoted. So I don't think that'll be in the full game. I think that's probably a glitch in the beta, but it is good to see that at least they're thinking about it. Maybe it'll be in the full game, maybe we'll see it again glitched in the full game. I suppose we'll have to wait and find out, but it's good to see that at least it has been thought about and that maybe we'll see it in the full game. It really does depend whether EA have noticed that that is a glitch. But again, this is something that should be in the game for a number of years now, so it's a bit strange that hasn't been a thing. I thought at some point that maybe it's due to sponsorship or licensing reasons, but it seems like EA are open to doing it because it has happened in the beta, and I'm assuming that's something that will probably end up happening in the full game. A lot of you guys want to know about that. I didn't previously know, to be honest. I hadn't seen it myself, but I did see it on Twitter. Obviously, credit goes out to the guys whose Twitter I saw it from. So yeah, that is pretty much everything as to why you should buy FIFA 19. Like I said, I did a video of reasons why you shouldn't buy FIFA 19, so if you haven't seen that, please go check that out in the top right hand corner. That's everything for today's video. I'd appreciate you going ahead and clicking that like button if you haven't already. Let's try and get 100 likes on today's video. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Also, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't just decided to subscribe yet. I'd appreciate you doing that too, because we're trying to hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel. And like I said, I do career videos usually, so you will be able to check things out. Just finishing a Man City career mode and moving on to a new one very, very shortly. So look out for that if you are newly subscribed. Don't forget to hit that bell button as well. That gives you notifications either occasionally or every time I upload, depending on how frequently you want them. So I'd appreciate you doing that. Let me know in the comment section below if you have done that. And thank you all so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.